Hey everyone, just finished my video just doing an unboxing of the API GHKH test kit. Wanted to make another video on just using it. I've got some fairly fresh tank that I added a little bit of GHKH solution to for my shrimp. I basically add it to all my tanks, but this is a brand new tank and I don't remember exactly how much I added. So I want to just make a video and let you guys see, and also make it a little bit easier for me because hopefully it has a low GHKH, so it's a little less work for me, and I'll explain what I mean by that. But I'm gonna move some of this other stuff kind of back so you don't have to stare at it as much, and apologize for the messy water look on the table there, but yeah. So I've already filled my vials. I did that just off camera before I started the video. You will fill them to the fill line that's on your API vials. And you don't have to be 100% on the line. Oftentimes I'm just a little over or just a little under. You don't want to spend all day messing with that stuff. It doesn't make that much of a difference. So, and I'm sure they calculate that making these videos or vials. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the KH. I'm going to move one of these vials over because I have a tendency to knock them over if I'm not paying attention, or there's a number of vials next to each other. So this is the solution. When these are full, I'll give you fair warning, they will just plop out drops on accident with barely even touching it. It's like ready to pop. So I'm not going to get too descriptive there, but yeah. What was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say. I'll go ahead and get started. So you're going to put one drop in, and notice how this is a yellow color. So I'm going to put one drop. I'm supposed to do it straight up and down, but I'm just nervous that someone's going to come flying out. So that's one drop. And you can see it kind of getting, I know the table's brown, so you can't really see a whole lot, but you can kind of see it. You can definitely see some discoloration there. So what you do, that was one drop. Whew, I'm gonna put the cap on. I'm gonna show you just the dropping, it changed it. So yeah, so it comes out yellow, the cage. You put a drop in it, it's gonna turn a blue hue. Blue is actually, I want to say, let me double check something. I think it's supposed to turn blue. Is the catalyst color. Let's read it together. Apparently, your solution shaken turns from blue to yellow. Oh yeah, okay. So blue is not the color. Blue is the basis color. So even though the drops are yellow, the solution turns blue to start, and it's going to stay blue until you hit the KH level. So when there's enough drops to KH in there, it will all of a sudden it'll turn this color of the solution. It should. So I think it'll look more like a brownish. But all right, so we'll add another drop. There's two, and then we shake it again and see if it turns colors. And now now it's even darker blue. And so what I've noticed with it is, it goes through phases. So it'll go from light to a dark color, and then it'll finally pop and be like that other color. So now one more drop. And like I said, I'm expecting this low numbers for me are like below 5 and stuff like that. Like GH and KH. I'm gonna shake it again. You can see the drops in there. Try to do it on camera. Oh, we got even darker. All right. I do love some of these colors though. They're pretty nice. There's 3, 4 KH. And you can see the color in there. And we got even darker. It's always awesome because you don't think like, how could that get even, what were we at, 4, so that's 5. Like how could that get even darker? Like it just seems like that's a crazy color for just some water. All right, we're gonna shake again. And there you go, you saw it right there. So it did actually go just to a nice pea yellow color, like apple juice or something. So that lets us know KH, we have 5 KH. And it's that simple. And it's the same for GH. I'm going to go ahead and run through it here, but I want to put my cap on. One of the things I want to make sure to note, I mentioned it in the unboxing video, but I don't know how safe this stuff is for you. You have to remember, it is a chemical. This isn't like something organic that, you know, is just whipped up with like nothing poisonous. This is a chemical, so I mean, until you hear otherwise, I would treat it as so. You don't want to be like, I try to avoid getting it on my hands and skin. I also try to avoid, you know, especially if you do that, you don't want to like, if you do get on your hands or something, you don't want to touch anything after that. You want to make sure, try to wash your hands as soon as possible. If you get it on your hands and then you like rub your eyes on accident or something like that, then it can get in your eyes. Stuff like that can lead to going blind or, you know, developing possible, you know, partial blindness or stuff like that. So, but everyone reacts differently to different chemicals. You never know what you might be allergic to or have a reaction to. So always be careful when messing with stuff like this, even from like the master test kit, the API master test kit as well, or any other testing chemicals you might come across, even in a different hobby. So, all right, so this is the GH one. GH is a green color. It's a nice little green there, almost same as the bottle. I expect this to be pretty much the same. All right, there's one drop. To be probably the same. Now, KH, in my situation, tends to go away a lot pretty quickly, almost immediately. That was one drop. Okay, with this, you can't tell because it's so faint, but remember how I said the color is going to darken the closer we get to it changing colors. So this is actually like a pink, like a pinkish color almost. I don't think it's going to get like a bright red or anything like that, but I think it definitely gets darker, almost like a red brown, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you can't really see it because everything is like, the table's brown, my hand's kind of a pinkish. All right, so this is the second one. It should start turning to a darker color. All right, cap, shake. Slightly darker, so it's 2, 3. Slightly darker. Yeah, it's turning definitely more of a 4, more of like a, some people would call it like a salmon, like a pink almost. There's 4. I wonder if I put something white behind it. Yeah, that's a little better. So it is basically the same colors there from the distance, but that'll help to have that behind it. Yeah, it's whatever. All right. So what we have 4. Let me know if I'm off in the comments here. We got 5. 5. Alright. 6. And maybe this is higher than I expected. 6. Alright. Maybe this is higher than I expected. I generally, and this is going to sound a little crazy, that's 6. But I run my tanks. 7. My tanks are mostly shrimp, and I've got 1 snail tank at the moment. But I've got like, I have 8 shrimp tanks, 9 shrimp tanks. Is it 7? I run them at about, they generally 8. And you guys got to follow along and let me know. This is just a test for you guys anyway, so definitely let me know. It's not critical here. Is this 8? What? Man, I gotta stop talking. But that one really stayed that green color when I put it down in there. It should change to green, I think. It's definitely getting a lot darker. But I run my tanks like 20 to 22, 23, 20. I've had them as high as 25, I think. Let's see, 9. But for whatever reason, I was having a lot of problems, like die-offs and stuff like that. I was having problems with snails. Their shells were just kind of even looked really thin and brittle, and like there were cracks and stuff like that. I had some bigger mystery snails at the time, so it was very noticeable. Almost looked like a nail, like someone's fingernail, like they'd been chewing on it. It was really bad looking. what was that, 9 or 10? I think it was 9. Those will be 10, I think. 10. But yeah, I run them that high, and like I had what had happened was I did it, and then I went about my daily life, went to work, stuff like that. I had measured it, or maybe I didn't measure it, and then I got the test kit later. I essentially didn't realize how high the GH was. In the KH, like I said, the KH kind of dissipates over time. So that's really not the number I even look for. I've almost run out of a bottle of GH, and I have almost a full bottle of KH for my original test kit. So if I could buy just the GH, I would have, but yeah. So this is, let's say 11. That's crazy. But yeah, I run it that high, and I did a lot of digging. Like I found out that it was that high, and I was like, oh my god! But I didn't want to panic and just like try to do water changes and stuff like that real quick, and then potentially kill a bunch more stuff. So I let it sit, and I tried to take the patient route, because at that point I hadn't been very patient in the hobby, and I would do like water changes and stuff real quick and kill stuff. And so I figured, I mean, if they're not dead already, what's it really hurting? So I let it sit. I tried to do a lot of research over like a day or two. What is this? I'm gonna say 13. I'm gonna go with 13 on this one. It's gotta turn any time. It's pretty dark. 14. But yeah, I let it sit for a day or two. Did a bunch of research, just looking online, seeing if anyone else had the questions, and nobody really else had an answer. A lot of people, I'd read a few people here and there say like they didn't seem to mind, and so I just ran with it. And I don't have really any die-offs. Every now and then, like I'll get a die-off here and there, and it's like that's just gonna be normal. You're gonna get some deaths, but I mean, I was having like 1, 2, sometimes even 3 or 4 deaths a day with like shrimp and stuff like that. And we're at 14 maybe. When you're getting in the hobby and stuff, and you don't really have any, and you're starting with basically nothing, they're so expensive unless you just find a cheaper route. And I think I was paying like $100 for a colony. Oh, there we go. You guys may have saw it there before I flicked it, but you could see it changing as I did it. So I think it was about 15 roughly, which I'm surprised is that high. I was expecting more like 5, but so we had 5 KH and about 15 GH, which is almost where I like it at. But 15 would probably be pretty good. I don't think they would notice a whole lot. But even like it says on here, I'm surprised. Maybe I did see this and just kind of forgot and didn't care. But it says here 8 to 12 GHKH is good for marine fish and invertebrates, which invertebrates falls, it would be like shrimp and snails and lobster and crayfish, crawfish, stuff like that, and things of the shell. But yeah, I mean, I've been running like, originally I think it was like as high as 25, I want to say is what it was, and I've worked it down. Like I'll top off the water and stuff like that, and then it usually ends up being about 20, and then maybe every time I don't do a lot of water changes. I mostly do water top offs, is what I'm down to. None of my water, I really have a whole lot of issues with it, and the shrimp maintain the tank fairly well. I will say I have one tank that smells, but I have probably 500 plus shrimp in there, and it's so small, and the shrimp just, I don't know what they do in there, but it only smells that when I add food, basically. And I don't know what that is. If it's like they start pooping a bunch, and I don't know, but I don't mind it. It only smells when when I open the lid there, so it's not the end of the world there. But yeah, so that's my intro to the GHKH test kit and using it. That's really all there is. I'm gonna put the cap back on GH. But yeah, and the colors, I mean, once it changes, you can let it sit. I mean, once they change and stuff, I mean, I've let them sit for a day or 2 or a week. The color's still there. Again, even with this, I mean, I wouldn't want to really it's probably fairly safe, but I try to dump it down the sink, don't touch it, and wash your hands afterwards would be my recommendation. Rather be safe than sorry with this stuff. So it is a chemical, but yeah, that's the intro to it. It's pretty basic. If you don't have this, from everything I've heard, like, this is way better than test strips, and I have some test strips. I won't say what website / persona / YouTube person promotes them, or community, or a cooperative of people that produce them. But I mean, I even think that they kind of talk about it a little bit. It's kind of the lesser of the situation. You're not getting as great of results as a test strip. So if you can, like, get this, and like I said, if you're testing with meat, like, and I have such high, when you're testing for 25 GH, that's 25 drops. Each drop, you put one in, you shake it. Nothing, put one in, shake it. 25 times, that's a lot. And for me, I have, right now I have 17 tanks running. I have to test 17 tanks. That's 17 test tubes of GH, where I'm shaking each test tube up to 25 times. So, I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of, even, what is that, 10, even if I just did 10 test tubes at 20 drops each, testing, and they all tested 20 GH, that would be 200 drops and shakes that I would be doing. And that's just for 20, or no, that's just for 10 tanks at 20 GH, so I'm probably doing closer to 300-ish. And that's a lot of drops and shaking. But before I bore you guys for too long, that's everything. Usual spiel. If you don't mind subscribing, liking, disliking, commenting, telling me to F off, I'd appreciate it. Means more than you guys might know. I'm a nobody, and I'd love to someday maybe make some money off, those videos or something, so that I can, put some more money into the hobby. I'm not rich by any means, so yeah, it'd just be cool to get some money to put back in here, buy more cool stuff, and I can show you guys and brag about it. But yeah, that's everything. I mostly just like making videos for things that I couldn't find videos on, or maybe I just it didn't seem like what I wanted in a video. So I'm just trying to put some content back out there, and obviously put it in my own words here. Hope you guys don't mind my voice, but yeah, I'll see you guys later. Hope you have a good day, and as always, stay safe out there, and goodbye.